Well, hello, authors. It's Mrs. Kohli. I'm so excited that we have this chance today to celebrate all of our hard work this year and read some stories together. Before we get started, I wanted to start our celebration off right. So I've got us a little poem or a kind of like a little chant that we're going to say together to get us all warmed up for this great event. So it's called the Author Celebration Poem. So I'm going to say a line and you're going to say a line after me. And this is what it sounds like. We are the authors. We are the authors, the mighty, mighty authors, mighty, mighty authors. Everywhere we go, oh, everywhere we go, oh, people want to know, oh, people want to know, oh, who we are, who we are. So we tell them, so we tell them, we are the authors, we are the authors, and we can tell our stories, and we can tell our stories. Everywhere we go, oh, everywhere we go, oh, people want to know, people want to know. We are the authors. And you say that, we are the authors. That's what you are. Isn't this exciting to be a published author? I'm so excited for you. And part of this celebration, I thought I would share a story that I wrote with my students, I'd say about maybe 10 years ago. And we had been learning about the importance of writing a story. And within a fictional story, it's a little bit different than what you wrote. You wrote a nonfiction story, but in a fictional story, you always want to make sure you have a good setting, some great characters, a great storyline or a plot with a good problem and solution. And you can't go wrong when you go with fairy tales. And so this is what my class and I wrote together. I thought I would just kind of summarize and share with you the excitement of writing these books. And you can actually even get your stories published, like full-fledged hardback story published. So if that's something you're interested in, you can do that too and really become a published author with a published book from a printing company. So this is called The Ugly Monster. And as you know, with fairy tales or fracturing fairy tales, you take the storyline and then you just change it. So that's what we did as a class, my little class that I worked with when I was a reading interventionist at one of my schools. And you can see here, this was our characters. And it says, once upon a time, so this is a mother crocodile, if you can't tell. You can see, just like in the original story, she's sitting on her nest when the story begins. It says, once upon a time, there were 5 eggs hatching in a crocodile nest near the edge of the stinky, slimy swamp. The nest didn't look like much of a home, but it was Mama Crocodile's home. So that's the beginning of our story. That's our setting. That's our main character. Well, it says Mama Crocodile had waited a long time for her babies to hatch. She couldn't wait to finally see them. As she watched her eggs hatch, she noticed that one of the eggs was bigger and brighter than all the others. Within seconds, the 4 little eggs hatched. Mama Crocodile hugged each little croc. Then the big egg hatched. Mama Crocodile's eyes grew to the size of a lily pad. Mama Crocodile said, I know you look different, but I am still your mother. Isn't that what all mothers say? They love us for who we are. We don't have to look a certain way to our mothers. But you can tell early on, this poor little ugly duckling, which isn't an ugly duckling, which isn't an ugly crocodile. It's the ugly monster, isn't it? Mama Crocodile loved all of her babies. She wanted them all to grow up to be smart crocodiles. So one day she taught her babies how to swim. All of them except for her ugly little baby crocodile. He couldn't swim. Mama Crocodile looked at her ugly baby croc and said, Big Joe, don't worry. I still love you, even though you can't swim. But look at the little ugly monster. He doesn't really believe what Mama says. He says, I am the ugly monster. I can't swim. Boo-hoo. Poor little guy. Have you ever felt that way when you notice that everybody else can do something and you can't do it? It's sad, isn't it? It is sad, and sometimes we just want to give up. Let's see what happens in this story. You can see the ugly monster. He's starting to kind of have negative thoughts. And he says, I don't want to be different. You can see that in the background, he's starting to pack his bags. He decides this isn't where he should live. He doesn't feel comfortable with people that are so different than he is, and he wants to be like they are. So Big Joe wanted to swim with his family, but he couldn't. He just sank like a heavy rock. So he cried and cried because he knew he would never be able to swim. He knew he was different. He didn't want to be different. He decided he needed to leave home. This is not a good decision. Okay, so there he is. He's getting excited because he's getting ready for his journey. So during the night, he snuck out of his nest and quietly left home. He realized he didn't belong there. His brothers and sisters were good swimmers and had long, thin bodies. He couldn't swim, and he looked like a three-legged, ugly, tall, big, red and blue monster. He sort of looked like a strange dragon. So he is really feeling like he does not belong to this family. So for days he walked and walked, and finally he came to a sign with the words, Monster Town. Hey, he says, that sounds like an interesting place. I think I will go there and see if I can find some friends that look just like me. So he did. But what do you think happened once he was at this town? It just wasn't like home. Even though everybody was the same as he was, he missed his family, didn't he? Big Joe liked living at Monster Town. He looked just like all of the other monsters in the town. Everyone was nice to him, but he still felt lonely inside. He decided it was time to go home. When he got home, his mother and brothers and sisters threw him a big party. They all missed him so much. Home wasn't the same without him. His family said, Big Joe, we'll always love you, just the way you are. And you can see over here, this is what he was thinking. He says, it's okay to be different. I'm glad to be home. Life without a family is far from home, sweet home. And then as every good fable or fairy tale ends, we end with these famous words, and they all lived happily ever after. Well, boys and girls, I hope you enjoyed my story that me and my class wrote years ago. But great stories never die. Great stories can always live on in the hearts of us and others. So I hope that today, as you celebrate your book, that you too feel enthusiasm to want to share what you learned as a published author, and that it will inspire you to want to even write more books. I know you're an amazing writer, and I'm so proud of you today. Keep up the great job. I am so proud of you. Until next time, happy writing and happy reading. Bye-bye.